Welcome back to Tigsbits. We have a very, very special episode today. One that I really and truly can't believe happened. It's not every day that you get to interview one of your childhood heroes, but it happened. We are joined today by none other than the three-time world champion, WWE Hall of Famer, and absolute freaking legend, Mr. Diamond Dallas Page. Oh, yeah. Bang. Look, Dallas shares his expertise on rehabilitation, fitness, and aging gracefully. And I think we can all agree that that dude is aging gracefully, to say the least. He talks about his experience as a wrestler and how he developed DDP Yoga to help him recover from his injuries. He also shares his latest workout routine involving blood flow restriction training and the benefits of using a hot tub and a cold plunge for his recovery. In fact, he joined us for most of the show from the hot tub and the cold plunge. It is very interesting stuff. If you want to improve your fitness and your overall wellness, this is a must listen. We want to thank Boil Boss and Gator Millworks for sponsoring this show, and thank all of you for watching and listening. We have had a ton of new followers, subscribers, and likes on our social media pages at Tigsbits Podcast, and we cannot thank all of you enough. Now, y'all have been asking for it, and it is here. Tigsbits merch is now available on tigsbits.com, and there are more items coming soon, including tumblers in your favorite team colors. So don't forget to subscribe, like, or hit that follow button. And if you enjoyed this episode, send it to someone that you know. If you know of someone that this kind of stuff could help, share it with them. He gives us some very valuable insight and information in this interview that all of us can use. So without any further ado, let's get into it.
There he is.
That was the most elaborate shit ever.
All on me. It's all on me. I'll take the heat. I sent the wrong link. This is the layover from the Justin Moore podcast. I brought all my bad habits from there.
Of course it is.
What's happening? What is going on, DDP? It looks like you are relaxing, my man.
What's up, boys? I'm sitting in my hot tub, and if you look over there, that's my cold plunge. And we'll be going from one spot to the other while we're talking.
That's right.
I'm a rehab specialist, man.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about before you came on, Dallas. Before we go any farther, welcome to the Tigsbits podcast, ladies and gentlemen. None other than world champion Diamond Dallas Page.
Yes, sir.
My brother. Yes, no doubt. Bang.
Bang.
But Dallas, we've been doing this podcast a while. Tig started it, and Blasey came on. Then he brought me on a couple of months ago. But we've been doing this. We talk about all things Southern, things that most guys and gals talk about if you're around here. Anything from food to culture to this to that. And we were talking about South Florida, and the Sheik just passing. And I thought, why don't we see if Dallas has got a few minutes, because I know you spent a lot of time when you left from New Jersey, but when you left there, you were in Fort Myers. And did a lot of the boys were based out of that area, the Clearwater, Tampa area and stuff. So you were down that way.
Yeah.
That was a while ago. But what about back then when you went down there? What was it like when you first got down there to that part of Florida?
Oh, God. I'm coming. I first went there to see it. I was living in Fort Lauderdale because I was running a nightclub up in Jersey. And, the drunk driving thing hit an all-time high up there, and they had roadblocks all over the Jersey Shore. And I was like, I'm going to go move to Fort Lauderdale because they ain't ever putting roadblocks up there, party capital of the world. But I was wrong because they came there too. But when I left there to go over to Fort Myers, one of my buddies over the years who I worked for his club, bartender when he was running a place, because when you ain't running a big place, you're bartending. Because you got to make great money, and you don't want to run some little joint. So we got to be good friends over the years, and he wanted me to come and do all, because I was like, they called me Pop, the Prince of Promo. I would put asses in the seats before there was ever a Diamond Dallas Page. And I was driving across Okeechobee on my way from Fort Lauderdale, which is one of the hippest, places you can be at, for down on the beach. to Fort Myers, and man, the land of the Copenhagen dipping coupon clipping draft beer drinking redneck, man. Like driving across with in my '62 pink Cadillac convertible with earrings in my ear. We're talking about 1985, and I'm thinking, man, this I don't know if they're gonna freaking like me here. This where I'm headed, and what ended up happening is when you get to Fort Myers, especially when you come across the the middle of the state, when you go into Fort Myers that way, it was lined with palm trees on both sides, and it was almost like coming into the land of Oz. But when I got deeper into it, I realized I was still in that same, old redneck mentality, and I'm a redneck at heart as well. I'm a little piece of everything. So a northern redneck. All I know is I was listening to country in 1971 when you unless you loved country and whether I don't care who it was, freaking from Merle to freaking Johnny. I don't care
Right.
who it was you were listening to. John Anderson, shit like you had to really know country music, like to know it back then. And I loved it. And one of my clubs I ran before this big ass club I was running on the Jersey Shore, I turned it in. The upstairs was a restaurant, and we called that the Longhorn Saloon. And I put some saddles around the bar for bar stools, and I wore a fucking cowboy hat, and from New Jersey, and I wore that fucking hat, yeah, all the way, bro. Before country was cool, way before, and but it was cool to me. I loved it, and so bottom line is, I got over there, and the restaurant that I started working in when I was a kid was called the Lobster Shanty. And what it turned out from, they had opened a couple of them around the country, and the one in Fort Myers went belly up. But in this particular location, they had 9 different restaurants come in to this area, about a 10,000 square foot, building, with, all usable for the bar area, and restaurants. So I just ripped everything out and called it Elations, the hot one, where every second sizzles. And we played dance music, and we killed it. We changed the way people dressed, and everybody told me, "You're gonna die there. Everybody dies there," and we killed it. We killed it for a number of years. So that's how I remember Fort Myers. Right now, I'm building I'm going to call it Paige's Retreat, and Panama City Beach, which is one of my favorite places in this whole state of Florida. I got a beach. I bought a beach front property on the Gulf, and 4 stories high, 9 bedrooms in it. And I want to do my DDP Yoga retreats down there on the beach. There's I've got bulletproof glass windows and doors everywhere.
Man. That's awesome. That's about 30 minutes from where I'm living right now. So I'm just right down the road from you in Freeport, Florida.
Lacey, when you'll be over my crib, you'll see it. And my place is like it's like a fucking wellness spa. Like I'm in 104 hot tub right now. I'm gonna be over there in that cold plunge. Matter of fact, let's go over in that cold plunge right now while I'm talking to you. I was doing the the horse trough with my own ice and the ice and doing it. And then winter in Atlanta got really cold, and there was about 3 inches of ice that came out, broke it up, got in that, and that shit got old. So right now this is pretty warm. This is pretty warm right now.
What is that?
What does it say?
Can you see how cold that is right there?
Man, that is
That's
says 40, 42
pretty warm, he
degrees.
says. That's pretty warm.
When I first got in, it was 40. So, the reason I do this, and you guys are talking about it, if I understand, stretching out and trying to get recovery from let's see, it's 4:51 getting in here. Ice was always something I put all over my body every time I got out of the ring. I had it on my knees, my shoulders, and my back. And I didn't even start wrestling when I was 35. My career took off when I was 40. So I didn't take a lot of painkillers unless I needed them, but when I needed them, I took them. Yeah. I needed those suckers to work, so I didn't recreationally use them like I saw so many of my brothers do. So, bottom line is today, all the things I have down here, and Lacey, you're going to see it when you come and see me, man. Steam room, hot tub, cold plunge, infrared sauna, hyperbaric chamber.
That is awesome.
I told him about last time I was at your house and the wake up routine. You told me, you're like, and they were asking, does he sleep? Because I was like, he's a workaholic, guys. He's going to be ready to rock. And they were like, does he sleep? I was like, oh hell yeah, he sleep. He prioritizes sleep, and he tells you we're going down here, we're going to be up here. And at that time, he's knocking on the door saying, get your ass, let's go. We hit a shake, we're hitting the sauna, we're going straight to a workout. I mean, it's just that's just the routine, because there's no magic button, there's no magic pill. You just got to put the work in.
Man.
And
I like it.
And that's why, talking about in the day, you did that to keep yourself up, because you were older than a lot of the guys that you were wrestling with or working with. And a lot of those guys didn't do it. And then now, unfortunately, the hands of time weren't so kind to them because they didn't fight them back all the time like you did.
Yeah, any from a young kid on, like I'm working with some kids who are 17 that do my program 5 days a week. Because they're literally wrestling at 17. And when you're 17, you think you're indestructible. Well, before you know it, you're 27. And when you finally get to the show, you better be able to go. Like I had Bart Oates here last Friday. Bart Oates is the NFL alumni president. He got 3 Super Bowl rings, 2 with the Giants, 1 with the 49ers. And he's 64, and that old boy still needs to get in the damn gym and lift his weights. But as you get older, you're losing muscle mass daily. And I'm talking about from 45, 50 up, especially 50 up, you're losing muscle. And I show you how to gain it and hold it. And one of the things besides DDP Yoga that is the fountain of youth, man. Because I'm 67 at this point, and I can still do almost everything I could do before. And
that's crazy.
Wow, that's
I would
amazing.
never go out and wrestle because that would kill me, because you can't do it all the time. But, it's that old thing that my boy freaking Toby Keith saying, I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was.
Oh, yeah.
But not just the DDP Yoga. What I turned Bart on to, besides the program, was these new things I got coming out called power cuffs, and they're blood flow restriction training. And what that means is you're going to take bands and put them around your arms, top of your arms, and around your legs when you're doing legs. And when you put these bands on, and I say power up, and you turn them and you cut the blood flow from coming out, but it still goes in. Because it's going in through your arteries and the blood comes back out through your veins. The workout that you get with 20 to 30% of your maximum 1 rep load, like when I do arms, biceps, I'm not slinging 50, 60 pounds. I'm using 15 pounds. The max I ever go to is 20.
Wow.
And the bottom line is my body has put on, over the last 9 months, put on 1 inch on my arms. Like that's not supposed to be happening.
That's next level. And it's the, the technology's there, and you figured it out. That's what I was telling them before. You go through all the process, you figured that stuff out, and that keeps you from wearing your joints out. You're using 20% of your max rep. So you're not tearing your joints up as you're doing it as well.
And it's a number of reps. Like you're doing 30 reps, 30 seconds off, 15 reps, 30 seconds off, 15 reps, 30 seconds off, 15 reps.
Right.
So it's 3 sets of 15, 1 set of 30, which is 75 reps. And when you and the reason why it works is when, I think I'm up right around 5. What time I get here? 8, now it's 13, yeah.
We'll keep a timer for you, DDP. Don't worry.
Normally, I'm not doing it with a phone in my hand. You guys can see I'm still in crazy shape.
Yeah, dude. You
That's
you
insane.
are.
That's insane.
and super lean. That ice tub isn't just for inflammation. The thing I love about the plunge is I can set it for hot or cold, and I can set it for whatever temperature I want it to be at. And so I get in that thing. It's not just the inflammation that it takes down. It also like I get right in the mornings. First thing I do is get in that damn tub. My wife does too, and it really it centers you. It gives you energy. It's burning fat, and when you take it, you see I took it all the way up to my top of my neck to the carotid artery there, because this is where brown fat lives. And I didn't even know what brown fat was until I started doing it. But when you're taking the temperature up to your carotid artery and getting the brown fat to activate, well, that burns off the fat.
Huh.
You know, I didn't even understand that.
Wow.
But the bottom line is that's why I'm so lean right now. Between that, and I eat good too, but you know, I'm still gonna cheat. But at 67, it's really important what you eat and the exercise. That's not going to have impact on your body.
Right.
What I was telling you guys about the power cuffs before, when you put them on your biceps, all right, your arteries, think of them as PVC. Your arteries are coming from the heart and going down your arms and your fingers, down your legs and your toes. Think of those as PVC. And the veins that's coming back up, think of those as a garden hose. And when you put the power cuff on and you power it up and tighten it up like a tourniquet, well, the blood's still going to come into PVC, but it's only going to be able to trickle out. So your veins and your arms, I mean,
Right.
like the pump is ridiculous, man. Like I feel like I'm lifting heavy weight again.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I know when I was there, we worked out with the predecessor to the power cuffs, were the straps that were before that. And I can remember the workout we did that day. Dude, I blew up. My arms were as big and as swollen as they've ever been. They're not big at all, had never been much. But, dude, it was a crazy workout. And we didn't even use weights that day. If we did, they were like 2-pound weights. We were doing the Bruce Lee thing. It was me, you, Jake, and Lex. And we were doing the Bruce Lee thing, the early thing on. And I can remember my arms, I'm like, would they stay like this, please? Because they were jacked.
Can I leave these
and I wasn't
bands
even
on?
lifting. It was great.
Blaze, that's how I started, man, because I started without the weights or anything. I just used like Bruce Lee would do dynamic resistance and tension. That's how I got my heart rate jacked up doing DDPY, which is is yoga for guys who wouldn't be caught dead doing yoga.
I tell you, DDP, I've joined DDPY, and it not just because I knew you were coming on. JR has talked about it previously and how much it's helped him with his back issues. But now, look, I understand that maybe he's not been quite as faithful as he should have been. That's neither here nor there. That is what really impressed me as we talked about it. I just turned 45, and I'm definitely a lot stiffer than I used to be. And I'm kind of starting to feel my age just a tad. I've tried doing yoga on like Apple Fitness Plus a few times, but I couldn't get into it. They just don't give you enough different modifications. And what I found is I was really trying to watch them more than focus on my actual workout. But after just a couple of days of doing DDPY, I can already tell this is something that I'm going to want to do for the rest of my life. I feel stretched. I just feel good. It feels really good to do it. In fact, I'm doing this with my 11-year-old son. He and I are doing it together.
That's awesome.
He plays soccer and he's starting football this summer, and he is freaking jacked about doing it, which is great. Before I was telling the boys before you jumped on, I was like, oh crap, man. I'm going to have to be held accountable to one of my childhood heroes. But look, I can handle it. I'm all in, man. I'm all in.
I told him, Dallas, I said, one thing Dallas told me when I started my journey to save my back and try to get my stuff right was you need to tell people to hold yourself accountable. And you want other people to know what you're doing to help inspire them maybe and help you get along through the parts. But we were talking about that before you got on, Dallas, that when Chad, so this is the way we know each other. Chad and I are fraternity brothers from college. he and Tigs were neighbors in
Freeport. Yep.
Freeport over that way
Yep.
Years ago. And at the time, Tig was what, 350?
Oh, he was a big boy. Yep.
And so and this was, 10 years ago. So he made his mind up to make some changes. Well, he got down. What'd you lose, Tig? About 100?
Yeah. I lost over 100 pounds about 15 years ago. So basically, I had to stop what I was doing and get in better shape. I mean, I gained a lot of weight after my wife and I got married. I was just a freaking time bomb, to be honest with you. So I made a conscious effort to get myself in shape. I had a daughter who was 5 or 6 at the time, and if I didn't, I knew that I may not make it to see her graduate high school. I can tell you right now, that's easily the best decision I ever made in my life. And I just started out on a stationary bike. I couldn't do a whole lot more than that. So I started on that. I worked my way up to an elliptical. Of course, I was eating right and changed that. And I started going to my local YMCA and doing the Les Mills boot camps, which I thoroughly enjoyed doing them. I got in a lot better shape, but I learned a lot about myself in the process and some of those things that had gotten me into the shape that I was in. I've been fortunate. I've been able to maintain that weight loss, still fluctuate some. And I know that I'll be changing my diet doing this. I promise. It's coming, DDP, but not today. But yeah, I learned a lot of the right things to do, and it led me down a path of just trying to get my life back straight and get back to being healthy. But I'm doing this. I'm doing DDPY because I want to be able to be more flexible. I want to feel better. I don't want to feel as stiff as I do. All of the pros that come with it, all of those things, I don't see any negatives. There are none. So that's why I want to do it. I know that the health benefits are going to be that I'm going to drop some pounds, might get a little shredded, which I'm not upset about that either. But that's what really brought me to it, that whole journey. And now kind of the point of where I'm at, I just need that little extra push. I need a little something more to get me through it. You know what I mean? So I'm absolutely pumped to be a part of the program.
And we got to get you to film it. We got to get you to track your progress for sure.
One of the things that's really amazing, one of the things I'm the proudest of, is there's this page on Facebook. It's DDP Yoga, one word. And I didn't make it. We have DDP Yoga, 2 words. That's our company on there. We're putting stuff up there all the time. But this was a group of people who just started doing the program to help them stay accountable. Now there's 78,000 people on that page. And you will never believe, because when people do the program, and I want you to do this, Tig, it's really important, is to take the 6 pictures. You want to take those 6 pictures because it's not just about losing weight or even being flexible. It's about having flexibility, core strength, and you'll get to see your physiology. Like your physiology changes when you're doing the program consistently. And the people who have that or on that DDP Yoga page on Facebook, if you just go there, they'll hit, I want to join. Someone's going to okay you. And then when you get on that page, you are never going to believe what you see people like putting pictures of themselves up and telling stories about where they are. Because people don't like to show the pictures when they first start out because they feel embarrassed. But that's how you keep yourself accountable. And you will never believe, there are some women, and when I see this, I get behind them, and cheer them on, and so a lot of times I'll call them if they keep up putting the work in, because they will put pictures of themselves that you would never believe a man or a woman would do this, but it's such a no judgment zone.
Yeah.
And people are helping people. That's how I started doing all of this. I just started, it took 8 years before I was an overnight success with DDP Yoga and $548,000. And I just would make one person a believer after another.
And shot down by Shark Tank, shot you down.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
tried to
Yeah, I
lowball
remember
you.
that.
Yeah, jokes on them, right? They didn't think it was going to work. You kidding me? How many people's it saved? Good thing they weren't in charge. They're not in charge of our nation's health.
Yeah, no joke.
In general, man, I'm just gonna always do what I know works for me.
Yeah.
Because like JR's been around me, man.
Yep.
I'm always working, but I never feel like I'm working. I love what I do. And when people get depressed or down, I always tell them, go help somebody. Help anybody. It's going to make you feel better about you. So, people are saying, God, man, you're helping so many different people. And if you've never seen the resurrection of Jake the Snake, you have to go and see that. It's on Amazon Prime. You got to see that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, I have. And it's even cooler to see the other day that he's remarrying his wife from 23 years ago. And then that's you, man. Like, that has to make you feel phenomenal, right?
Jake is going to be here on Monday because one of the producers, have you guys seen the new documentary that's on Netflix? It's the Conor McGregor documentary they have up there. Really well done. The company's called Religion of Sports. They came to me about 3 months ago and they had seen Resurrection and they wanted me to, if I wanted to know if I wanted to make it a film. And now it's turned into something else that like maybe even a series.
wow.
So like one of the producers is coming in here to talk to us about it and sit and hear our stories. And, because there's so many cool things that happen that we didn't film. Like there was at one point, Jake was really mad at himself. I don't even remember what it was about. All I remember is he came downstairs. He was living at my other house. We called it the accountability crib. And he came down and he goes, I am such a loser. And he punched the marble counter. I go, what are you doing? He goes, I'm such a loser, man. I go, stop saying that. So I go, come here, I want to show you something. So we were in the kitchen, which had opened up into a huge living room. And I said, come here. And I walked him in the bathroom. I go, what do you see? And he goes, I'm a loser. I go, stop saying that shit, bro. I go, look at your shirt. And the shirt he was wearing had a skeleton. It was all in red. A skeleton that was waving a flag that said wasted youth. I said, look at that shirt you wear. Wasted youth. Every time that you wear that shirt, when you come anywhere near close to a mirror and you see that, you remind yourself of you're wasting a huge part of your life away. I go, dude, you got to stop wearing shit like that. I said, you wear shirts with Charlie Manson's face on it. I go, that's a fucking scumbag of the world. Would you want any of your kids to come anywhere near close to that guy? He's like, no.
Yeah.
I go, yeah, stop wearing shit like that. You should be wearing positive energy, unstoppable, never give up. And he goes, and he said, yeah, all right, yeah, I get it. And he walked upstairs, and 20 minutes later, he came down. He goes, check this out. Because Jake is an artist, and he had written and made this banner. And on it, he said, I just called Robert. He's making me these shirts. And on the banner, it said, my history is not my destiny. Powerful.
Nice.
Oh,
That's
that is
awesome.
awesome, man.
Powerful,
That is awesome.
no doubt.
Yeah,
no
very
doubt.
powerful.
And it's a mindset. It's that mindset change, and that's the first part you've got to get to, right? You've got to get your mind to shift, and you got to get that paradigm shift. Something that you say, I believe it's either you say you can or you can't, and whichever one you say is the one you're going to believe, right? So and you're going to do whichever one and it's my kids, like the rule growing up, I didn't allow the word can't in my house. And it was just like, no, we're not going to use that word. This may be difficult, but we're going to show you a process to get there. But like we don't use can't, and it's a mindset, man. And you've got to be there, or it's easy to quit. It's easy to stop and give up on yourself if you don't believe in yourself. So anyway, that's pretty powerful.
And the working out and the diet helps. It all works together. It's the tripod of life. You eat good, you work out and keep your body up, your mind's going to feel better. Same if your mind's feeling good, you're going to be more motivated to eat better and work out. They all work together.
If you talk to anybody who made it to their 90s, and I was watching a podcast, I don't remember who was on it. It was one of those 2-minute clips, and it was a guy who was 101 years old, and they said, "What is the secret?" And he said, "It's not a secret." He said, "The food we eat and the exercise that we do. If it's high impact exercise, you're never going to make it past your mid 80s. And who gives a shit how old we get if we're immobile? Like, the beauty of DDPY is flexibility is youth, not just in the body, but in the mind. And now that I've been able to, I didn't lift weights for 15 years because, man, I'd come out of the gym going, God, what did I do to my shoulder? Or, oh, God, my back, what the hell did I do? I was always leaving with some kind of, I walked in there with a 3-letter word that is the most detrimental word that we have in our vocabulary, and it's called ego. Especially, you got to check your ego at the door and just go in there and work out smart. And now that I've got weightlifting back in my toolbox, I know my muscle density is going to last 10 times longer than the average bear who isn't doing what I'm doing. And with DDP Yoga, I've been doing this shit for over 20 years, 24 years. So, and if I could go back in time, who was saying they were doing it with their Tigs? Was that you doing it with your son?
Yep, that's me.
If I could go back in time, there's only 2 things I would change. I'd leave everything else the same. Because everything I learned from every failure, every lesson, and that's the biggest thing too. People are afraid to fail. Fuck that. Embrace the failure.
Yeah.
Because failure is what teach you how to do it the right way.
Right.
And then you respect it. But if I could go back, I would change 2 things. I would be doing some form of yoga. Hopefully I would have developed my own, but if I was a kid, I wouldn't have. But I still would be doing some form of yoga, and I would have taken Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay.
Because Jiu-Jitsu is, to me, the greatest counterbalancer. Like, if you look at UFC, if you ain't got no wrestling or Jiu-Jitsu background, you can forget about being a main guy. Because you're never going to be that great striker because the other guys are going to take you down and you ain't going to have no game. But if you've got mat game and if you got Jiu-Jitsu, and I love what I love about Jiu-Jitsu, when someone's coming at you on the offense, that's the best thing to happen to you.
Right.
You're going to turn around and choke them the hell out, And, to me, I think it would if every kid was taking Jiu-Jitsu, it would eliminate bullying. Just would eliminate it,
Now, that's a good point. We got a good friend of ours that's been taking jiu-jitsu. He didn't start till his, early mid-40s, just a couple of years ago. And he's all in, and he speaks highly of it. And I remember back when Hoist Gracie days, with the UFC stuff coming on, I really got into, researching it. I haven't taken jiu-jitsu, but, looked at all everything around it and his story and all. So it's really cool. It's funny. You mentioned earlier at 50 is when you got to start. That's when the muscle loss starts. I turned 50 this past Wednesday. I was telling JR before, I work out 3 or 4 days a week, but I don't go crazy anymore because I don't want to hurt myself. That's my key. I go much lighter, but I'm still doing just standard workouts. I was like, man, I need to step something up. I'm getting bored just going in there doing back and biceps and a little chest and some light squats. And, I want to do more. I want to build my core. I want to really keep my flexibility, keep my strength, but really kind of step my game up and be healthier and better shape even than I am now at 55, So this is great timing, I think.
That's 3 different scenarios on this thing with Dallas, with 3 different situations. I'm doing mine because I've got injuries. Tigs is doing it because he's trying to fight the lifestyle stuff and get back in shape where he was.
But I'm even more excited that just what you just said, DDP, that I get to teach my child something at age 11 that he can take with him for the rest of his life. I don't know if there's a better gift that I can give him than health and the key to a healthy lifestyle and a body. So that jacks me up, man.
Exactly, and then there's Blasey, who he's on the thing, but you can't tell. But he was a hell of an athlete, Dallas. He was and still athletic and everything. He'd come back and just smoke everybody at intramural stuff when he was way out of school and way out of shape. But he's another prime candidate too, because he wants to take it to that next level. And I was telling him before you came on, because I've worked out with you and I've done the workouts for years now. You can take this thing from the beginner level, literally in a wheelchair, to extreme, you don't want no more. The best athletes in the world, I've seen Dallas break them. Even without weights, the workouts you get will break a man. I mean, it's all you want with the workouts, because I've done them from my morning stretch I do every day, the Wake Up 2.0, all the way to working out with you and Lex and Jake and going through the ringer. But Blasey's aware of the calisthenic thing and physical therapy. I'm like, it's a combination of that with some yoga teachings, and then the Bruce Lee stuff, and it will really break you down more than you think. A workout without weights and without running or without jumping is going to do, but it does that every time from any level of fitness or whatever you're trying to look to get out of the deal. It does that. It accomplishes all of that, which is really cool. And like going back to what Tig said, all of us, and you said it yourself, we didn't know about this. You helped figure it out. You told me that early on as friends. You're like, I did the homework for you. I tried everything. As soon as it came onto the market, I tried every kind of health thing there was, and this is what works. This is proven. This works. There's no magic pill. There's no silver bullet. But if you do this, it will work. And even me now, if I take a week off and don't do my workouts, my back starts letting me know. And then as soon as I start my workouts back again, the back pain goes away. It's better than it. I've never had. There is no drug that can do that.
Right.
Well, if any of you boys come through Atlanta, I'll put you through the paces. And what I do, like when I did with, Bart Oates, president of the NFL alumni, I never push someone past their limit. I find out where that is, and we just walk that edge. And because I want them to walk out going, man, I feel amazing. Like, I'm pumped up. Like, Lacey, especially for you, the power cups, man. Like, that workout is 30 minutes, 35 minutes maximum, and you're done. Because you can't lift like you normally would, like you would do. All right, we're going to do back and buys today. So we'll do, 3 sets of pull downs, 3 sets of rows, 3 sets of, pull down. Then we'll go to biceps and do preacher curl and, supinated dumbbells and whatever. You can't do it like that. You can't lift, because after you lift 75 reps and your goal is to get to 90, because you want to be able to lift 30, ideally 20, 20, 20 reps. Because once you get there, it's time to go up. Like when I started with 10-pound dumbbells because I hadn't lifted in 15 years. I've been lifting air and engaging and flexing my muscles, but I haven't been lifting weight. So I started smart with 10. Within 2 weeks, I was at 12. Within another month after that, I was at 15. Now I can go 20, but that's only going to be on that first set of 75 to 90 reps. Then I'm going to go to triceps and now reverse and use the other muscle, which is not depleted. And then I'm going to do that same deal there. Then I'm going to go back to biceps, back to triceps, biceps, triceps. I'm done. I'll start off on the mat for 10-minute warm up, and then I'm going to go back to it for another 20 minutes of just breaking up scar tissue. I've already got my cardio gone, because when you're lifting weights like that, your cardio is up in that zone the whole time. And if you just keep engaging when you're moving, it's going to keep you like that for the rest of the workout.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I don't do enough cardio, and that's the thing. I work out, I'll ride my bike to the gym and bike back home. But I just don't, just running in place, I don't like. So that, going up with that and getting in that nice cardiac zone during a workout, that's more of my speed there. Now I'm doing both,
Right. And I told, and Chad and I, when we were in college, we did a workout. When we worked out together back in the day, we used to do this thing called holding up the wall,
right,
which I told him this would give him an idea of what I was talking about, what DDPY does to you. And, holding the wall is basically putting your back against the wall, bending your knees 45 and putting your arms out. But you do that for 60 seconds and they start going, and that's the base. And I don't know if you saw
just
that,
total
Dallas,
muscle failure. Yeah.
I got my Bulldog James Dillon shirt on. I don't know if you can see that.
That's funny. The Bulldog.
Dylan and I text each other twice a year, maybe, usually a couple times a year, and it's like, how's everything going? I'm trying to get back into it. I'll put weight back on. I'm trying to, and we try to help each other on that. And that's part of that accountability. And with the community you've built through DDPY, it's even easier than ever to have somewhere, like you said, that's not yoga for regular guys, but it's for everybody, and there's nothing to be shamed about it because it's cool and it's dally. And like Tig explained earlier, before you came on, you walking him through the stretches and telling where you put your foot. How do you hold this pose? How do you do this? The 12 steps. That's huge for someone who doesn't know all that lingo going into a yoga workout or something at a gym. That's why the workouts are so cool and so for everybody.
I could see. I think it's tomorrow, the next day. I can't remember where I get to go back through the 12 again. Which I need to. That first time I didn't get my heart rate up as high as I needed to because I'm watching you to see. How do I do this? How do I've never done this before, but the next time I do it, my heart rate's going to go sky high because I know how to do the move. Now it'll be the second time around. And I was hurting. I'm sore. I'm sore. My shoulders are sore, and that's only from doing one thing. There's all of those moves, but it's so fun. I get to do the freaking diamond cutter continuously. My favorite closing move of all time. I can't believe that I'm getting to talk to DDP about it to begin with, but what? That's cool. That's just like that. Just is the perfect trademark ending and the whole thing to wrap it all around. I love it. It's brilliant, man.
I always say it ain't your mama's yoga.
No, it is not.
No doubt. Well, everybody can go check out that Facebook page. Everybody listening or watching, if you're watching on YouTube or if you're listening on wherever you listen to podcasts, go check out the DDPY page. You go to that Facebook group, which I'm sure Tig will enjoy. I'm a member of it, and join up on there and post your stuff. And that's a great community hub for all that stuff. And then the app. You can download. There's free exercises on the app that you download. DDPY app. It's just on your app store of any kind of phone you have. There's so much free, great stuff on there, which was the next level of that I want to talk to quickly, and then we'll jump on some wrestling and get out of here. But as far on there are also recipes, because we talked about the working out, but the food and the dietary, what you put in, fuel, what you put in is what you get out. That's what Dallas has told me before. And everybody's got to figure out what works best for them. Obviously, we all know, most people know now, hopefully, that a bunch of Coca-Cola and cigarettes and hot dogs is probably not going to be the best thing for you. We hope everybody would know that. But for anybody just getting on that doesn't know anything about diet at all, Dally, if you could give your top 5 or so ideological things on diet, what would you say some of the top couple of things about diet would be to look for and avoid?
If you want to know what your body doesn't like, the quickest way to figure it out is just for 2 weeks, just 2 weeks, eat vegetables and protein. Ideally, you want organic vegetables. Why? Because the conventional vegetables and fruit are filled with pesticides, because that's how you keep the bugs away. And the reason why organic vegetables don't last, because they're real. If the shit lasts for 2 weeks, it's shit.
Right.
So, and I'm the same way about meats. I want them to be I just want them to be what God created. That's all I want, is people to, if they can eat protein and vegetables and then put back one thing at a time, like put back bread, put back wheat, see what happens. If you feel like shit, then maybe you shouldn't eat that.
Right.
It's common sense shit.
Well, exactly.
They call it like the elimination diet, and put soda, but put things back into your diet, but one at a time, and then you'll figure out what's really works for you and doesn't. Like one of the things that we're putting together for the app, and it'll be done probably by the end of July. I've developed 90-day plans on 3 levels of eating. And we're going to tell you exactly what to eat. We're going to make it for you, because every one of them is a cooking video.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like you can go. Yeah. So if you think of the Food Network, I think there's 2 different food networks, out there. So that's 48 hours of cooking recipes on TV. Never mind all the competition shows and all that. There's not one healthy meal out there.
You're right.
Period. It's all shit. That tons of this, tons of sugar, tons of this, like tons of that shit that's not good for you. It's going to make you feel like shit. And the truth is, if you don't start to take care of your wellness, you're going to be forced to take care of your illness. So ain't one person who ain't listening, who ain't getting older. And as you get older, one thing that happens with that, you kind of get a little smarter. Hopefully. What we're going to do is we're going to lay it out for people. There'll be 3 different 90-day plans, and without commitment, there is no start. Without consistency, there is no finish. You got to put the work in and figure out what works for you. Like for me personally, I have people watch movies. Like when you go on the DDP Yoga app, and the first 7 days are free on it anyway. I'm trying it out. The very first thing on there is the list. And Tigs, I'm going to tell you, do the list.
Okay.
And do it with your kids and your wife.
Okay.
The list is everything from what's your why, to setting goals, to a lecture I did on living life at 90%. The formula being life's 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it. Like the bottom line is, like he said it earlier, he said, you got to like really start with your mind and your mindset. Like you have to work from the inside out. If you just work on your body and losing weight and building muscle, if you don't work on the inside, the outside eventually, I've had people lose, hundreds of pounds and never put the work in mentally, and they gain it back plus.
Right.
So what was the use?
Right.
You've got to make a change.
Yeah.
And it's got to be a real change that you can live with. And a lot of people, like I can remember, like I had to really get educated on food. There's 3 movies, every documentaries that everyone should watch, and they're on my list. Food Inc., Genetic Roulette, GMO, OMG. Like, then you'll know.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is, you got kids, it ain't just what you're eating, it's what they're eating.
Exactly.
So it's educating them.
Yeah.
Because again, the shit that was before 1996, go and look at footage from Leonard Skinner in 1982 and then 2022. And you'll see a bunch of skinny people, and then you'll see a bunch of really big people.
Right.
And the people who are really big wouldn't be anywhere near as big in 1996. They didn't start genetically modifying our food, like wheat, bread, whatever, wheat's in everything, gluten's in everything. It used to be 7 feet tall wheat. Now it's 18 inches, but it's got 4 different buds and yields twice the outtake of what gets brought in. And the bottom line is, man, I don't eat that shit because it makes me feel like shit.
Yeah.
So no, I'm all about just feeling great. And do I still drink? Yes, but I drink tequila, the best tequila, because it's it's the healthiest booze.
Is it really? That tequila is the healthiest
Yes,
booze you
is.
could drink? Okay. All right. Well, shit.
It's the
Good to know.
healthiest booze that you can drink. And there's some people who should never drink tequila.
That's true.
That
That is very true.
It can make them go sideways.
Yeah.
But I'll also drink gluten-free beer. But there's a brand called Duradom.
Oh yeah.
And whenever I'm on the road, if I get on the road with the boys, Justin Moore, he's always got my Duradom beer there. Because even if I could drink all the beers, all of them, and feel good about it, I still would drink Duradom because it's an amazing beer. It's from Spain.
Okay.
Yep.
And
I think I turned you on. I think I turned you
I
on
gotta-
to it actually.
Yeah, you
back
did.
in the day.
You did. And
Yeah.
always
Because I found it
making
and I
sure
was
that
like,
got
this
it.
is, because we had omission before that. When we were doing the omission.
Right.
And then I found this because I went straight gluten-free, dairy-free for a couple of years. I'm still doing pretty good. I cheat a little, but I found those somewhere. And I remember sending you a picture. I was like, best beer I've ever had. It's the original gluten-free beer from Spain. It's hard to find, but it's called Duradom. And then because I remember the next time I came to your house after telling you that, your garage fridge was head to toe Duradom. The whole thing was full of Duradom.
That's awesome.
I'm
man.
still gonna
I gotta
drink
try
beer.
that. I've never had it.
I'm still going to eat meat, but I'm just going to eat the best because I'm not preparing for 70. That's going to be here tomorrow. I'm preparing for 80, 90, and 100 because I'm going to be that guy unless I get struck by lightning, and then God's calling me up and got to go to somewhere else, which I'm all good with that. But bottom line is, while I'm here, I'm going to be the healthiest. You guys see me go back and forth from an ice plunge to a hot bath this entire time. My body is so relaxed right now.
Oh, I bet.
And again, I'm ADD. I'm going to do 2, 3, 4 things at one time. If I could get on and be writing shit while I'm talking to you, I'd be doing that too.
That's right.
But I can't do that with the podcast.
We appreciate you coming on. We've slowed you down a little, DDP. I know, but we appreciate your time.
Oh, this is the greatest setting ever. I think
It really
awesome.
is perfect.
It's about holding back the hands of time and then that quality of life you get later on. I've said that recently is, people get different things throughout life, and then you get told at some point you can't have any more of that. You get told you can't have any more salt, or you can't have any more beer, or you can't have you can have none ever again. And I would rather do the healthy choices now to where I could still enjoy a little of that later. And like Dallas was saying, being able to move when you get 70, 80, 90 years old. Instead of not being able to. And it's not like you have to go run a marathon to do it either. You're talking about 20, 30 minutes a day or 4 or 5 times a week for a huge change. Same with food. One of the things I remember Dallas telling me early on, besides the gluten-free beer, because he went up and poked me in my gut. He said, "That's a weak gut. What do you drink?" I said, "Bud Heavy and Jack Daniels." I swear to God, this was in Atlanta. First time we met. Jim Turney was there, Blacy. Jimmy Turney was there. Him and his wife came and met us that day. And he was like, "Do you hang out with Dallas all the time?" I was like, "No, it's first time." But because he was like, "He sure just poked the shit out of your gut." I was like, "Yeah, he's right." But I said, he said, "That's a weak gut. We got to get you on some gluten-free beer, and we got to get you off that Jack Daniels. We got to get you on some clean, clear tequila." I'm like, "Done." He said, "No more wheat, no more dairy." I was like, "Done." And I switched right then and went, because I want to be able to do that a long time. I want to be able to have a beer later in life and be able to move later in life instead of not. And it's not like you have to do these crazy things. I can remember when I first started doing the workouts, after like 2 or 3 workouts of literally the morning stretch 10-minute deal, I knew something was changing. It was working. And then I was hooked ever since. And I've been telling everybody I see, everybody I meet, and you'd be amazed. Sure, Dallas, you get it all the time, but I'm walking through an airport and I've got my DDP hat or shirt or something on. I'm getting stopped and talked to. Somebody's going to give me the cutter, or somebody's going to mention something about their workout, saved me, help my cousin. It's just, it's phenomenal and it's great. And that was part of what we want to talk about. Just the post wrestling career of Dallas Paige is probably helped more people than just about anybody that's ever done it. We'll see if he'll jump back on. Him. He may jump back on, but if we don't, but that's the truth. You know, we talked about that before, that, his post wrestling career has helped more people than I don't know if anybody's done anything even close to help other people. I know people have done charity stuff and things of that nature, but as far as making a real impact, I'm not sure if anyone's ever, done as much.
I don't think anybody's made as big of a difference post wrestling. I mean, just look at the wrestlers that have come to him. I mean, I saw someone say, there's wrestlers, some of those cats are a little shady, a little dark, checkered past, whatnot, but no one ever has a bad thing to say about Diamond Dallas Page. Not a thing. He's an incredible human being, and he's given back so much to the wrestling community. It's crazy that he didn't get started until he was 35 years old. That's just a crazy thing. But he's given so much back to the
that's
to the
what's
wrestling
so cool about
community.
him. His wrestling career is awesome, right? That's unbelievable. That's so cool. But I think this stage of his life and what he's doing now, I think he's living his best life right now, and he's doing the coolest stuff right now. Like, I'm more intrigued with that than the wrestling.
I know,
as cool as that is.
Too, the wrestling thing's been covered inside and out and upside down by everybody who's ever done it and everybody who's ever liked it. There's probably more wrestling media, YouTube pages than anywhere else. He's making a comeback, ladies and gentlemen. He's coming back for that 4th World Championship.
I can see also too that my phone was losing charge. So,
gotcha.
I'm going to walk into the war room. Let me get a towel here. Hold on a second. Let me take this with me.
The war room.
No, but Dallas, we were just talking. As much as you've done post wrestling, it's just so impressive and so awesome, because a lot of people have done charities and things where you help raise money and you do this and you do that. But dude, you've helped the boys, you've helped other athletes, you've helped average Joes, you've helped moms, you've helped, elderly people. It's just awesome. And I know you because you've told me this. You want everybody, even if they get it for free, just have it. You want everybody to get the benefits out of the deal. And I just want to make sure everybody knows that's a shoot, man. I mean, Dallas has made some money off this, no doubt, but it was from the heart to help people first and foremost.
Yeah. But it took 10 years. It took 8 years before that happened. All right, let me show you this, okay? So here's the infrared sauna back here.
Oh yeah, I've been there. That some bitch is
you
warm,
ain't done
baby.
this yet, though, bro. You see this right here? This is called Live O2 Extreme. All right, this is oxygen deprivation training at a different level. So what I'm doing here, after that ice tub every morning, I do that, and then that goes on my face. Let's see. This part here, the top part, is 90% oxygen. Down here, you can see where it's got green, 10,000. Then it says yellow, 13,000, 16,000, then 19,000, 22,000. You see it dialed all the way up? I'm training at 22,000 feet
Wow.
on this bike.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
8% oxygen. Start out really slow and then speeding up and then speeding up. And by the time I get to 10 minutes of 8% oxygen, you know how they put the little oxygen thing on your finger? Let's see, right here, this gimmick on your finger in hospitals to see where your oxygen level was.
Yeah.
And if you're under 90, they put you on those. If you got that, your chance of coming through is
Done.
really low.
Yeah.
I would never even have gone to a hospital over that because I don't trust them. Not hospitals. I don't trust the whole process. You know, I could go. That's a whole another story for me. The bottom line is, I'm going to rely on me to build my own immune system, and things like this Livo 2. I've been doing this for over a year now, and I will go to 10 minutes of 8% oxygen. Then I'm going to sprint for 30 seconds at 8%. I'm talking about dialing up. And then I'm going to hit the lever right here, which will take it from 8% to 90% oxygen. We're breathing 21% right now.
Okay.
Now, what happens there? I'm going to do that a total of 10 times. And each time it'll be less of a sprint, like 25 seconds, 20 seconds, and I'll say there are 20 seconds and 20-second high oxygen. What happens, you've deprived your body of oxygen. Now you've got 90% coming in, and it's going to go into your deep tissue, like start to heal you at a cellular level. But it's not just going to hit here. Like this is one of my 2 chambers. That's one. And here's another one in here, which is 15 PSI. Okay, so looks like
Wow.
a spaceship.
Now
That's
that
a new
is-
one.
That is, I heard you on Joe Rogan a few years ago, and he was talking about trying to get you into one of those after y'all did that podcast. Is that the thing that he was talking about that goes to like 12 PSI or something?
He wasn't talking about PSI. He was talking about floating in those tanks.
Oh, okay.
Where it's all salt and it's completely blacked out. Like you feel like you're floating in the sky.
Wow.
You know?
Did you
did
it?
I don't know. No, I have never done that yet. I haven't done it, but I would. But I would do it now. But I want to see what it's like because Joe is always on the cutting edge of shit.
Yeah.
Like it was really funny. He started ice tubbing around the same time that I did. And then I started to see the guests he brought on. Then I started to learn about it. Then I did the research and the science. Like, I'm not doing anything that there hasn't been a ton of science on.
Right.
Because I don't want to go, but if it feels good and I know it's good, then I'm going to keep doing it.
Sure.
And this right here, what it does, and I find it even in the chamber, I'd have to be in there for like an hour or so, right? And I was like dead time to me unless I was writing or something. And so what I did going this with the bike and doing the oxygen training with Livo 2, I was feeling when I really flooded the 90% oxygen into me, it wasn't just going into my muscles, it was going also into my brain. My memory has gotten so much better. Say hello to my wife, Paige.
Hey,
Paige. Yeah. Hey, come here, baby. Come here. Yeah. So you're thinking right now her name's Paige, right? What's your maiden name, baby? What's your maiden?
McMahon.
McMahon.
Paige, I'm Tigs.
Hey.
Nice to meet you. I see you on videos.
You know, who no one would believe. I told Jericho her freaking middle name was McMahon, her maiden name was McMahon. He spit the water out of his nose. So this is the workout room in here. Okay, got a few of the belts up there.
Oh yeah, yes sir.
As you should.
The training area. This is Paige over here of her picture in front of a mountain that's a volcano erupting.
Wow.
I don't know.
That's cool.
Wow.
Yeah, and I don't know if I know because I know Paige, but her backstory is incredible as well. I mean, she's fell off a mountain and broke her back in multiple places, and now she's leading those workouts, Tigs, after breaking her back in several places.
Holy cow! I did
Wow,
not
that's
know
crazy.
that. That's incredible.
Yeah, she's a stud. She's a stud.
Oh, yeah.
But the oxygen has really helped heal my brain at a different level because I've had a few concussions. Okay, so this is the war
Sure,
room.
you have.
You can just see all the crazy amount of pictures everywhere.
Oh yeah.
And,
Oh, wow.
Wow,
Okay,
man.
That is awesome,
yeah.
man.
Oh, that is freaking yes, man. That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, and you should see the pictures over there, guys. He's got some cool ones. I mean, there's some cool stuff on that wall, those walls.
I'll show you my favorite picture of all is Muhammad Ali was my hero as a kid growing up.
Yep.
And I got
We lost your video somehow.
We got it.
There we go.
He was my hero, and I'm doing an autograph session that he's at in 1997, and in 1997, 98, 99, that was my years,
Yep.
And I'm going to get there early. I can't wait to meet him. I know when he's signing, and I don't have to sign till after him. So I get there to the airport at 6:00 in the morning. I'm ready to fly out at 8, and we get stuck on the tarmac.
Oh.
I don't get to Cincinnati. I think it was Cincinnati till 2:00. I was so pissed because I know he's done and he's gone. And long story short, I run to the green room just for the hell of it to see if he's still there. And I'm looking, there's a shitload of people in there because it was everybody who was anybody was at this signing. And then I hear Diamond. And I turn around and it's Ali.
What?
And he's swear to God, he goes, come here. So as I'm walking towards him, oh my God, Ali knows who I am. As I get close, he says, lock up.
What? Oh, yeah, that would definitely be my
Great,
favorite
man.
picture too. Holy cow, man!
Well, he was a big wrestling fan. We were talking about that also before you came on, Dallas. That back people know in the '80s when it changed, when Hulkamania changed, and all it went more towards children. It was more aimed towards the younger audience. But prior to that, wrestling was as big as any sport. When they had the best athletes in the world come on the 3 channels back in the day, whether it be Mickey Mantle or Joe DiMaggio, whoever, then it was Gorgeous George. And then it was Ali, or it was as big as any other sport there was, and taken to a level where it was an adult. Tig was talking. His grandmother had her favorite wrestler, and that's how he got into liking it. And me with my aunt. And so Ali came up. He was with those guys because and at the time you were the world champ, so of course he was keeping up and knew who you were. Yeah. So it makes sense.
It
but
was
it's
just crazy to me.
Oh yeah, crazy.
I'm sure
that's the same. It kind of happens not at Ali, but with Justin when we get to meet George Strait or we get to meet Alan Jackson. It's kind of and it's hard for us to. And Justin Tracy Lawrence told him, he goes, quit saying you're my hero. We're peers, because we're both doing this thing. But you're no, I'm still a fan, And so I can only imagine how, because that was your favorite athlete growing up, and then finally you're on top. And you get to meet your hero, and he tells you to lock up. I mean, that's what better could he have said,
Nothing.
That is
be.
great. That is absolutely great.
I mean,
you're still excited about that, man. That's what's awesome,
Yeah, you should be.
Yes. And here's another one. The next time I see him, you can get up here.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
But this is my next favorite picture. Me and the American Dream, brother.
Oh yeah,
baby.
Absolutely. Dusty Rhodes, baby.
That's from 1989. 1989. That night, I'm wearing a Willie Nelson hat, right? And that Willie was playing in Fort Myers, and Dusty came down from Tampa with his wife Michelle, who's Cody's mom. And next thing you know, you got Dusty up there singing with Willie.
Love it.
What a night. Holy
wow.
Dusty never, once Willie brought him up, He never got off that stage. The rest of the time.
Oh, man. Well, you were saying earlier that you like country music, but back in the day, a lot of the boys were into country music. That was the big thing back in the day, huh? I mean, all the guys you're running with, most of those guys were into country and rock and roll and stuff, huh?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. You know, one of my favorite, and I got to, I met him a couple times, and then we eventually went out to dinner. Was Travis Tritt, who I loved. Like, I loved his music, and the song, when I started wrestling at 35 and a half, the song that was my song is "I'm Gonna Be Somebody." And when I tell you, we, in the car with the boys, we're all nobodies, and driving to that next town. And, that could have been Marvelous Mark Merrow, Van Hammer, Steve Austin, Mick Foley, back then Cactus Jack. I want to be somebody, man. Like I never really realized that was a huge part of me making it, because it's all about the story you tell yourself, and I wrote a book called, my last book I wrote is Positively Unstoppable, The Art of Owning It. And it is this 6-inch piece of real estate in between our ears. It is that inner voice. It is the story you tell yourself. That's why I always tell people, you've got to heal your body from the inside out. If you've got all those daddy issues or mommy issues, treating me like shit or whatever, you need to let that the fuck go. You need to let it go. And my dad, he was a decent guy. I think he was a good guy, but he was not the greatest father. He wasn't there, but he was there to party, and he'd call you when he got a buzz on, and he'd be all excited, and you'd be all excited, and then he'd start crying, then I'd start crying, and you think it's your fault. But I never held him accountable. Yet, right up until the day he died, a week out from when he died, we'd be in a great conversation, but eventually he'd bring up his mother, and he'd be saying what a piece of shit she was. And I got to go, Pops, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, I got to throw a flag here. Like, you were a shitty father, right? You know that, right? Oh, whoa. I got to go. It's okay. Goodbye. Talk to you later. And it would be forgotten by the next time. But, like, I'm not going to I make everybody accountable. In my life, you want to be around me, I make me accountable, and I want people to make me accountable when I don't.
Yeah.
So, it is all about the inside out. And, for wrestling, I said, I want to DM Travis. And it was around Christmas time. And I said, hey, man, you still in Atlanta? And we had only talked at a pay-per-view, and we were both renting a car at the same time, another time. And of course, we knew each other were, and but it didn't go anywhere past that. But now he's following me, I'm following him, so I just DM him. Hey, man, you still in Atlanta? He goes, yeah, I'm outside of Atlanta. I said, how about dinner at Houston's? He goes, I'm in. And he was leaving to go to dinner, and his one son, who's like 16, says, Dad, where are you going? He goes, I'm going to have dinner with Diamond Dallas Page. He goes, the guy who was on Rogan? I love that guy.
That's awesome.
That's how they do me. So let's talk wrestling. Come on, let's say what question you got?
The only thing I had was if you ever had any interactions with the Iron Sheik. I didn't know from the AWA days. Because Sheik just passed.
No, I know, bro. I love Sheik. Oh man, Sheik. I'll tell you a story. When Jake, he didn't live with me just back for Resurrection of Jake Snake. He lived with me 20 years before that for about 3 months. And he got to stay for 3 months with us until he lost a 12-foot long black cobra in my house. No bullshit.
Oh my God.
Dallas's ex-wife's like, he can't stay here no more.
Yeah, no. I love him, but he has to go. And,
wow.
But Jake would still, because WCW had let me go. I only wrestled for 9 months, tore my rotator cuff. They're like, you're done. You're like, you meet on the up. I was 36 years old. I was a rookie. What are they going to? Yeah, he's never going to make us money. And Jake ended up calling me and seeing how I was doing. And him and his old lady were split up. And that was the first time they were split up. And he freaking, I asked Kimberly if she mind, can he take the bedroom downstairs? And she's like, oh, I don't know. I go, baby, he's like Yoda. I will learn so much from him. And she was like, all right. And she loved Jake until he lost that black cobra in the house.
Enough's enough. We can't have the cobra.
Jake would actually get back with Cheryl for a while there, and anything he got booked on, he'd get me booked on it. So he got me booked on a tour of the Philippines. You go through Singapore. They're going to do 9 different cities. And he got me booked because he was the main event. So Jake always looked out for me like that, big time. And he would teach me. And sometimes I actually got to work with him too. But we're getting ready to go to the Philippines. And you fly into New York, and then from there you fly to Singapore. I think that was the first place we were going to. And you took a bus out to where the plane was, because it was one of those really big ass planes, whatever. So I don't know what level it is. All I know is they couldn't pull it up to the gate. Right. So you got to take a bus out to the plane to take off. Well, we get on there, there's a bunch of seats. So if you don't really like your seat, you take another seat. So that's what the Sheik did. And I'm sitting in the same row, like 4 people behind him. Now remember, this is before 9/11. All right. So yeah. it was a different world flying back then.
Absolutely.
So Sheik sits down on this 2 seats, because you have 2, because we're not flying first class. I'm just lucky to be on the damn plane. But Sheiky, he's not flying first class, so he's sitting in the back with the rest of us. So he takes these 2 seats for himself. Well, there's one more busload of people to come out. And here comes this couple up, just got married. They're just, they can't wait to go wherever, Singapore. And there's the Sheik in their seats. And they try to explain to him that this is, our seats. What you talking about? I'm Iron Sheik. I'm 300 pounds. World champion. I beat Hulk Hogan. Swear to God, he's saying this shit, right? Just jabronis. Go. Leave team. And fucking the kids don't know what to do, so they leave. They come back with the stewardess, right? And she's trying to explain to him. And he goes, Diamond, tell them I'm Iron Sheik. I'm 300 pounds. I can't possibly sit in one of these seats by myself. You, woman, go. Diamond, I'm like, go. I don't know shit. I
don't know who you are.
Oh my God. But that's, and because it wasn't, because they had shaken it right off the plane after 9/11, So,
Lord, yeah.
You probably wouldn't let him hold for a while after that.
Yeah, right. But Sheik, he always got away with things. The only thing that he ever got busted on was when him and Duggan got caught drinking beers, going down the New Jersey Turnpike, and the friggin' state trooper sees them. They're in the hottest angle ever. It's so white hot. It's crazy. Duggan's going to make so much money. Sheik's going to make so much money. And then that happened. Oh, my God. And they still kept their jobs, a miracle. But, they got boom, 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 boom. And had to.
Right.
And I'll tell you what. I love Sheiky. Jim Duggan, one of the best human beings alive, one of the greatest guys, man. Sheik, I was lucky enough to having come not to work out with me, but come to my performance center because we're more of a marketing company too, as well. So we do a lot of, promotional stuff. And Johnny Morrison did this horror film around a miniature Sheik. It's probably about 18 inches high, a puppet of the Sheik with a saber, and how the puppet and all the voiceover that he shot was at my DDP Yoga Performance Center.
So you got to see the full, and he kept that up. He got even crazier as it went on too, because he always did that. Because he was huge on Twitter before he passed.
Oh man, I loved him on Twitter.
Yeah, break Hulk Hogan back, make him humble jabroni. You know, I mean, he was huge on that stuff. It was so funny.
Did you see that meme of some lady of Iron Sheik's ghost that has come in and she's like hitting a bedpan over somebody, or it was some meme that came out. It was very fitting. That's the Sheik even after death, still haunting Hulk.
But you know, he ran hard though. Special. You know, that documentary on him, he ran hard. Sheiky baby ran hard. You know. And talking about Duggan, I think he's on the bounce back. I see he's doing things like he's getting his health under control. He's still bouncing around. That's good. You know,
he's had a couple bouts of cancer and came out on the other side of on all of them. So Duggan's awesome. A great guy, really good guy. Well, listen, boys, let's see. Let's get back together in about 30 days and we'll see if Tig's still doing the program, bro.
That's a deal. That's a deal. Oh my God! Now I have to be held accountable. That's the one and only Diamond Dallas Page, and I'm okay with it. I asked for it, so let's do it.
That's right. You'll get
Worst thing is I'm just going to be in a lot better shape, and I do look forward to it, man. Yep. It's going to be the answer I'm looking for, and thank you so much for coming on the show, man. You certainly didn't have to do this, but it's an honor to have you, and I look forward to talking to you again.
All right, boys, have a great day. It's been your pleasure. See ya. Bang!